And we are live, and I am thrilled. We are all thrilled and pumped to be back together, back with all of you all on a Friday afternoon, morning, evening, depending on where you all are tuning in. We are happy, thrilled, and pumped to be with you all. Gary, David, how you brothers been? Glad to be back with you both.
I am thrilled and pumped to be here. That's for sure. So, yeah, it's great to have you back, William. We missed you.
I miss being with you guys. How you both been? How you been as well, David?
Yeah, I was really looking forward to this, all three of us together again. And
Yeah.
yeah, otherwise, good, thanks.
Good.
We were doing some shows with Gary, and well, we were hoping to having you on again.
Absolutely, and glad to be back with you guys. It's been a bit of a minute. Been very busy, but in a good way. All in a good way. Been quite busy in my end, but for the audience that may be wondering, we are happy to be with you. Do you have anything on your mind? I will remind you all, if you come back here, I have pinned the link. Gary, should I pin the link on your end, or can you do that?
I already did it.
You did it already. Awesome. Yep. Phenomenal, man. You rock. So, you guys, if you have anything on your mind, we'd love to have you back here. Click the link, come back here, and I'll let you all know from the get-go. On the right-hand side, you let us know what is your faith persuasion, what is your question, and we'll bring you guys up. If you want to come up, but you don't have to. You can put a question in the group chat, put @ to us, direct it to us, and we'll tackle it to the best of our abilities, and we're happy to do it so as well. I do want to pick your brain though, Gary, before we even dive in. You're going through the great St. Athanasius, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
How's that been? How's that been going?
Well, I've been having a lot of fun. Just going through all the material. We went through the 39th Vestal letter, actually going line by line through the list part and tying in the context, the larger context and the Coptic fragments. I just got done talking about what he means by Apocrypha. And we're going to jump into usage. I think Monday's chill stream will start showing how he uses these books and blow away that idea that these books were just for edification.
Yeah, that is an idea that's got to be completely blown out of the water. What a terrible argument, an apologetic that we hope does get retired. A common one that we hear from our Protestant friends. David, you nodded approvingly. Seems to me you've been tuning into those chill streams. They're perfect timing for you. I have not had the chance. Have you gotten a chance to watch any of those shows on Athanasius?
Yeah, I was completely excited for the Athanasius series. Like for all of them, even the previous one, like Cyril and Origen. Sure. These are just fantastic shows from Gary. Fantastic breakdown, very detailed, exhaustive information. It's just, to me, that's really a good chill stream. I mean, even relaxing for my brain and everything. I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
And I want to give a shout out to our editor. The guy's such a phenomenal editor. This is such a great photo. I had to use it, man. I mean, that is, look at that, man. That's phenomenal work, isn't it, man? It's like you got Gary right there. It's the Grand Master right there, ready to take on anyone. And here we are. We have his back. Yeah, right. And there we are. We got Gary's back there. It is just, that's what a great image. Shout out to our editor, the guy that is second to none. He's the very best. Great work there.
Sith Lord called Darth Apocrypha. Or...
right.
Yeah, and you have the Bible open to Tobit with the fish.
Right.
There you go. There you go.
Coming off the pages.
Oh, man. I love that, man. That's just great. What a great icon there. What a great image. Yeah, so much fun. Let me go to the chat. What are you guys up to? Hope you guys are having a good one. Joe Ro says, Palpatine. Joe Ro, how you doing? God bless you, Joe Ro. Hope you're having a phenomenal evening. Hope all of you all are having a great one. I don't know why the style changed. It's supposed to be classic. What did I do there? Let me see. Style. There we go. Classic. There we go. Palpatine. Yeah, we love that. We love that. Oh, look at that. We got Talos. Talos, how you doing, heretic? How you doing, brother? I'd watch that movie. Yeah, we would too, man. We would too, man. And Abel says, Abel, without a doubt, of course. What do you mean? Of course, there's no doubt. The editors gotta love Diet Coke, man. Without a doubt, man. I don't think any of these people on this panel like it. David, you don't like Diet Coke, do you?
I mean, I don't drink it real often, so
right.
I cannot give you a fair judgment of it, but
What about you, Gary? No, right? You don't like Diet Coke.
No, it gives me headaches. I couldn't do Diet Coke.
Okay.
Probably the aspartame, but maybe I tried. What was it? Pepsi Zero, I think.
Yeah, I got that right here. Pepsi Zero. Yeah.
Yeah, that actually wasn't bad. I didn't get any headaches or anything. So
I love that one. It's one of my favorites. We're definitely up there. One of my very, very favorites. Now, I want to give a shout out. Thank you very much. You guys are great. Thank you for your support. You guys are phenomenal. AB says, God bless you, brothers. And AB, we're glad to be here. Something that people don't know about AB. The guy is incredible. One of the best when it comes to spiritual warfare. By the grace of God, I plan to do a show with him, hopefully, in the future, holiday time. The guy is great. It's amazing. And the brother James, we love him too. He's a heretic, but we love him. Hi, Gary. And Gary, now there's an inside joke there. Hi, Gary and Gary. Sorry, I mean William and David. Not yet for you guys, but happy feast day of St. Albert the Great. Yeah, it is for David. It would be because David. Well, in about 20 more minutes, 11:39 for you right now, right?
Yes, exactly.
So in 20 more minutes, it'll be the feast day for you. The brother James, I believe, is in Singapore. Now, the inside joke is I did a show with Divine Mercy the other day. And that bagged milk clump drinking freaking heretic, rather than make a new image to promote the show with me, just popped Gary's head off and just put a blurred up photo of me and kept Gary's name there and everything. So he had it advertised as a show with Gary Machuda with my face there. And even though he corrected it right away, these internet sleuths, man, nothing gets past them, man. Nothing is going to get past them, man. So that is the behind the scenes joke there. Clyde, how you doing, brother? God bless you. Hope all of y'all are having a great one. And I want to remind people, I try to tell, come on, man. What are you talking about, Talos? What are you being a hater about? This is a good one. I love this one. We'll take this one. We'll open up the doors of the dojo. Well, they're open already, but we'll open them up even wider. And we'll take this one first. Frank, not Lynn. And you guys can conjure Franklin if you want. That's all right, man. Franklin. With Gary, I wonder, before we even dive into this, I wonder, has Franklin ever come up when you've done any of those shows? When it's just been you or you and David? Has he come up with you guys?
I don't recall.
No, I don't think so. He just, he's a fan of yours, I think.
Well, that's wonderful to hear, man.
Frank, you need to subscribe to the AA. I mean,
that is right. If he hasn't subscribed to the Apocryphal Apocalypse, he won't get the notification. Franklin, we know you're watching because you always tune in. When I've been live with Gary and David, you've come up many times. We know you're watching. Give us a helping hand. Subscribe to the Apocryphal Apocalypse. We'd love to have you a subscriber there too. But Franklin, if you are watching, and anyone watching, I don't care if Franklin or anyone watching, I don't care. You all are invited to come up, pick our brain, and you don't even have to come up and debate. You don't need to come up and debate. If you have anything on your mind, we'd love to hear from you. Frank, not Lynn, says, and by the way, Frank, thank you for being a goated moderator and member. Someone in the WhatsApp asked how we know Peter was married and if his wife was still alive. Can you also touch on the authenticity of the Clement's writing on Peter's wife? Thank you, and God bless you, gentlemen. So the number one thing that I'll tackle this first, brothers, and you all can follow up with it. Let me show you in the Bible. In the Bible, we can ascertain that Peter had a wife. Now, whether or not St. Peter's wife was
Okay, so William is frozen now.
Uh-oh. Yeah. So William, your reply was so brilliant. I think it blew out your internet connection.
Sure did. Also, I know my mic is changing. There we go. That should be better. There.
I see two Williams. Okay, now just one.
There you go. Oh man, I got to say, yeah. So let me pop that up. I apologize for that, guys. So as far as Peter being married, whether or not St. Peter's wife was alive during his ministry period, now that's one that's a little bit iffier. That is one that we really don't know about. But in terms of whether or not St. Peter was married and had a wife at one point in his life, yeah, the Gospel of St. Matthew tells you pretty clearly. And when Jesus entered Peter's house, he saw his mother-in-law lying sick with a fever. So as to whether or not he was married at one point in his life, I think it's pretty evident. I think the Bible does make that pretty clear. Now, as to whether or not later in his life, whether his wife is still alive or what have you, now that is a little bit hazier. But as to whether or not we know that he was married at one point, yeah, I think the Bible makes that very, very clear. What are your thoughts on that, Gary and David?
David, you want to take a shot at it?
I basically agree. I mean, certainly had a wife, but I mean that's it. I don't think we can extrapolate any more information from the Bible.
Sure. Any thoughts on that? Well, let me also point out one thing. That isn't the only piece of evidence, if you're wondering, Frank.
Right.
By the way, thank you again for the support. We have more passages, and yeah, we do have
1 Corinthians 9:4, for example.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. I was about to put it up, man. Gary's way ahead of the curve. Ahead of the curve.
Hey, thank God for logos, right?
There you go, man. And you know what? We think alike. I've got logos open, and I have Bible Works. Do you remember Bible Works from back in the day?
Oh yeah, sure.
Guys, you guys probably don't even know. It was right. It used to be great. Now it isn't even in they're not even in business anymore. They don't even sell it anymore. But I mean, Gary and me have been doing this since the Stone Age. So I think Gary, I had Logos back when Logos was a CD. I think you had it even before it was a CD, right?
Yeah, it was a 3.5 floppy.
I don't remember that.
Those.
I don't remember those, but I had it. Now, if you had the floppy, then you eventually upgraded to the CD, right?
Oh yeah, yep. And then it came out. I actually had Logos when it was a beta version.
Oh wow, you've been on board for a long time then.
Yeah, I was there before Logos became Logos.
Wow. So we use that. I use it a whole lot. In fact, guys and gals, I'm used to using Bible softwares rather than using Bible Hub or other areas. I think the Bible softwares that we use, I think they're a little bit better. But Gary pointed out brilliantly, 1 Corinthians 9:5. Do we not have the right to take along a believing wife, as do the other apostles and the brothers of the Lord and Cephas? Well, what is being confirmed? St. Paul is not only confirming that St. Peter was married, but that his wife accompanied him in the ministry, at least at some point. Now, is she alive and accompanying him later on? We don't know. We know at one particular point she was accompanying him. So that is very strong, direct testimony. Now, Frank also asks about Saint Clement of Alexandria and his comments about Saint Peter. So Clement of Alexandria's thoughts about Peter, and I just want to be certain. I'm going to imagine, it can be expensive. It can be. I'm going to imagine he's referring to his martyrdom. And whether or not his martyrdom is one that is a reliable account, I do think that the early patristic testimonies to St. Peter's martyrdom, I do think that those are reliable. And I think they're reliable because early on we have testimony of that, and that will be verified by later particular patristic figures. So I think that it is pretty, it's a pretty good testimony. What are your thoughts, David or Gary?
Yeah. Now, is this for Clement? Is this First Clement, or is it the Clementine?
No, he means Saint Clement of Alexandria.
Oh, Saint Clement of Alexandria.
Yeah.
Okay.
Frank, can you confirm? I believe
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, I believe he's referring to that. Frank, can you confirm? By the way, guys, you guys are phenomenal. Thank you so much. And AB, hit me up. I can guide you as to what the best introductory packages and everything are. I mean, we've been using it for many years. Frank, if you can confirm, I believe he's referring to Saint Clement of Alexandria there. And if he is referring to Clement of Alexandria, yeah, that is that's a pretty good early. Yeah, he is. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, he confirmed Clement of Alexandria. Okay, cool deal. Yeah. And James says Nestorian William there for a sec. Yeah, a double William there. And you guys don't let our Assyrian Church of the East friends see that, man. No, they're not gonna like that, man. James, thank you for the support, brother. Great, great question there from Frank. Absolutely, AB. No worries at all. That was a very, very good question. And let me see if we have anybody. We don't have anybody back here. Yeah, come on, guys. What do you guys do? You guys fast asleep right now? Don't worry, guys. We don't bite, man. Not unless you're like a big juicy steak. We don't bite, guys. So come on back here. We'd love to dialogue with you. David, you were going to say something, brother?
I just wanted to say my Nestorian alter ego, Elijah, had a fantastic debate against Jose Sudain.
He did a great job, man.
I mean, it was just like...
What a great job. I mean,
Father Sudain had a very tough time. And he was just, trying to wiggle out of each and every evidence that was put forward by Elijah. Yeah. It was a little bit embarrassing to me to watch. I mean,
it was painful to watch that. I got to see in a masterful job by Elijah yet again. Did a very good job, and I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. The guy is definitely up there as the elite of the elite when it comes to the papacy, and he's great, and it's wonderful having him defending the faith the way he does. He doesn't get enough attention, but we're going to make sure that we do give him all the attention that we can because he's great. And for me, in terms of active debaters on the papacy, there's nobody better. Now, don't come back to me and tell me, oh, well, whoa, what do you think you're doing? What do you think you're doing? Don't come back to me and tell me, oh, William, Eric Ibarra. Eric is my friend. I'm talking about actively debating. Eric writes a lot, and Eric is not actively debating at the moment in the papacy. They're both up there. But in terms of actively debating the papacy at the moment, there's nobody better than Elijah. And remember, guys and gals, one very important marker of an apologist is being willing to debate. And everyone here in this panel is willing to debate. If you write, wonderful. You defend the faith, wonderful. You got to be willing to defend your arguments in a live forum as well. And that's one thing that I applaud Elijah. He is willing to debate his points against anyone. So, yeah, love the brother Elijah. And the one person that I don't like, guys, and I hope he's not here. I can't stand Sam, man. That guy's such a, he puts me to sleep, man. Every time the guy's live, it puts me to bed, man. I mean, the guy is just, I try to not even tune in, man. The guy's so boring, man. One of the most boring that I've ever heard, man. Guys, for anybody that does want to come up, we love you guys. Click the link. Join us back here. Let us know what you have on your mind. Even Sam can come up here, man. Sam, come up here. Let us know.
He was also on a big platform recently.
He was on PBD. And
it was cool.
The amount of people that have been touched by that video and really enjoyed it, loved it, and if he wants to come up and talk about his testimony briefly, that'd be great. But if not, I know he's busy being a Buddhist for the Pope. With that being said, guys, go check out that video.
I didn't know that he's from a Syrian clan of warriors. I mean,
oh yeah, you didn't know that.
I would never guess that.
I'm shocked that so many people have reached out to me. The one thing that has shocked me more than, I'm going to be honest, guys, the one thing shocked me more than anything else is people have reached out to me and they didn't know Sam was a Syrian. The amount of people like, guys, how long have you been watching him? Yeah, man. You didn't know that either, David?
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty much a big warrior, but I mean, what he said about, the history of these Syrians, that just confirms everything. So,
Oh, yeah. No doubt about that. Absolutely. Let me see. All right, let's go to a few questions. I'm glad you liked it, Tanette. God bless you. I'm glad you liked it. Let me see. We had a question. What was the question? Let me see. I took a screenshot because my thing crashed. And for some reason, my cat, By the way, it was from James. By the way, I have a question for you. Regarding the passage in Wisdom, it is about wisdom on invincible ignorance. Wisdom 13:6-9. Okay, let's pull up. Okay, Wisdom 13. Okay. Let's look at it. Let me open it up for the audience, and I'll put it on the screen for you guys. And you guys can check it out. Here it is. And let's dive in. We'll give the thoughts. By the way, God bless you. Thank you for the support, James. You rock, my friend. We're going to dive in. Where is it? Wisdom. Yet these men are little to be blamed. For perhaps they go astray while seeking God and desiring to find him. For as they live among his works, they investigate them and are led astray because the things that are seen as beautiful. But again, not even they are to be excused. For if they had the power to know so much that they could investigate the world, how did they fail to find the Lord, of these things? So what Revelation 13:6-9 is talking about is very clearly, this is natural revelation. Natural revelation is enough to know the true God. And failure to do so is to a certain extent a moral fault, not pure innocence. So what kind of ignorance would this be? My opinion, and I'd love to get the brother David and the brother Gary's thoughts. My opinion here is that Wisdom 13, from reading it briefly, just ever so briefly, checking it out and looking at it, from what I can gather, it seems to me that this is vincible ignorance. Now, why is that? Well, they go astray while actually seeking God. Let me pull it up. They pull it up. Come on, man. Let's chill out in those caps, man. No need to yell, okay, guys? From me looking at it, they go astray while actually seeking God. So that to me seems like they have goodwill. And so they have goodwill, which would be the basis of invincible ignorance. But the text explicitly says they're not excused. So that would rule out invincible ignorance entirely if they're not excused. And then verse 9, from what I'm looking at, verse 9 to me really does seem to confirm. Verse 9, if they had the power to know so much, how did they fail to find the Lord? So this is a biblical definition of invincible ignorance. They could have known better. They should have known better. And they failed through neglect, disorderly attachment, and what have you. So I think that this is invincible ignorance. And if I am correct, Sam is a walking encyclopedia. He probably knows where it is. If I am correct, I believe this was even quoted or alluded to by St. Paul in either Corinthians or in the book of Romans.
Romans 1.
In Romans 1. You are amazing. Okay. Do you know where in Romans 1?
Yeah, I think it's, let me go real quick.
Wow, I can't believe you remember that. Okay, so I thought it was Romans or Corinthians. Okay. I found it, Romans 1:20-21.
I almost got it. Well,
you got it. You did get it. No, you're the one that got it. Yeah, I mean, look at it. So St. Paul interprets this as vincible ignorance as well, identical to Wisdom 13:8. So that's the way that I would read it. Brothers, I don't know if you agree or maybe you don't agree. What are your thoughts?
For me, yeah, I think Wisdom's teaching parallels that of Paul, because remember, now we're dealing with natural revelation, not supernatural revelation.
Sure.
And so they know God through the things he has made, and yet, they suppress the truth. And basically, Wisdom says the same thing. They know God through the things they made, but led astray by the beauty, right?
Yes.
And they begin to worship creatures rather than the Creator. That's essentially the same. So that's basically all I have to say. I haven't really went deep into that, but
from what I can tell, there seems to be vincible ignorance, right? I mean, I think
it gets dicey when you're down on the level of natural revelation.
Sure,
right?
Sure, yeah.
Because,
like I said, when it says they go astray, to me that suggested goodwill, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe this is invincible ignorance. But then right away it follows it up by saying that they're not excused.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So as far as Paul is concerned, they do know the truth through the things they've made, but they've turned against it.
Sure.
And I think Wisdom is essentially saying the same thing, because ultimately that passage in Wisdom is juxtaposing these people against those who are rank idolaters, right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's pretty clear. Anything to add to that, Brother David?
No, I'm learning from you guys.
I'm learning on the fly. I hadn't seen this one before, guys. Sorry, I'm learning on the fly, man. Had you really dug into that one before, Gary?
Well, the idea of knowing God through nature, I have invincible ignorance to some extent. But the thing is, like I said, there's a difference between natural revelation and supernatural revelation. The church teaches that we can know God through reason and through the things He has made. Right?
Sure.
We all have access to it. As to whether you could be invincibly ignorant of it, I think is doubtful. Just on Romans 1. Because he says there's no excuse because they know God and yet they didn't accord Him, to logic or do reverence to God. That part I haven't really studied, but I'm more familiar with can non-Christians be saved and the role of invincible ignorance can have there.
Yeah,
but the difference is with them is like they don't have positive revelation.
Right.
But natural revelation is accessible to all.
Yeah. So no doubt. And as you point out, for invincible ignorance, knowledge is possible, and a person should have known.
Right.
Yet for invincible ignorance, knowledge is not, at least not reasonably attainable. So if it's not reasonably attainable, you would not be morally liable. Yeah, I'd love to dive into the fathers and what they say about that as well. Just great.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Great. Yeah. I think that's great. Those are really, really good points. Who do we have? Let's see. What do we have?
There's someone backstage.
Do we have? Let me see. What do we have back here? Is that Ari? Is that you, Ari? You there? You able to hear us?
Yes, I can hear you guys.
Hey, what's up, Ari? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Hi, Gary. Hi, David. Y'all are really cool. Big brained. So sorry, I can't say the same for you, William.
All right, what's your question, Ari? What's your
question? My question is, it's a loaded question, all right? But I think y'all got this. What did I put in there? Yeah. So I asked like how the canon was, made to be like the canon. So what was that process like to like be put together? If that makes sense. I don't know if I am making sense or not.
Yeah, you want to take a stab at that first, Gary? I guess she's asking about the process of canonization.
Okay. For who? For Christians or for Jews or for who are you talking about?
For us, basically.
Okay. For
Christians. Like how? Yeah.
Well, my understanding is ultimately the contents of Scripture is part of the deposit of faith. It's what Jesus handed on to his apostles, and his inspired apostles handed on to the church. So it became part of the practice of the church to read the canon in its liturgy from the word go. Because just like the Jews, they have a special station for the reading of sacred Scripture. Christians likewise have a special station in their liturgies from early on. Then that eventually it seems that heretics began to circulate their own heretical writings, pretending that they're ancient. Actually, we went over that in the chill stream this morning.
Oh, very cool.
Athanasius, he was running into the Meletians, the Arians, and they had their apocrypha that they were mixing with divine Scripture. So that's when the church needed, at least on like a local level, needed to start protecting the deposit of faith against these pretenders. So Athanasius is a great example because he segregates the canonized books and the books that are read from the Apocrypha. And then eventually, when you get to the 4th century, that's when you start actually having local councils speaking to the canon, basically for essentially the same reason. And so you have Hippo Regius 393, Carthage 397, Carthage 17 419. They're all putting together these canon lists that are identical to what Council of Trent handed on. And you also start having papal statements as well that reaffirm the same canon, perhaps as early as Damasus and Innocent I. So that would be, was it 387 guys for Damasus? Is that correct?
Yep, right around there.
And 405, I think, for Innocent I list. And basically that becomes the law of the church. Then fast forward to the Middle Ages, where Jerome rejected these books. He put his rejection in the prefaces. So as his Bible, the Vulgate, becomes the Bible in the West, we start having problems because people are adopting Jerome's view or modifying Jerome's view against the law of the church. So that's where Trent needs to step in and give a ruling on it. And to tell you the truth, I don't know why Florence did theirs. Apparently, that was for the Jacobites, but I don't know very much about the Jacobites and whether or not.
Can I ask a question? Sorry, before you continue. Can I ask a question? So why did Jerome? Why was he opposed to it? Like, why did he reject it?
Well, that one I'm going to punt over to David because that's kind of David and William's sweet spot, actually.
Yeah, basically, I think he thought or believed that the Jews preserved the original scriptures, in the original language, and so I mean, of course, they preserved also some other books which they did not believe at the time to be scriptural, like Ben Sira, for example. So he did have access to the Hebrew version of Ben Sira, but the Hebrews did not believe it was on the level of the inspired scriptures. So basically, Jerome fell into this, and he simply accepted the Jewish canon to be the most ancient, probably, and the most trustworthy. And I think what played a role in there is that, and I think a crucial role is that he saw these variants among the Greek manuscripts, among the Latin manuscripts, all the divergences. As Augustine said, we have as many versions as many Bibles, And so, he was like perplexed. Okay, so what to make of this? And so finally he said, okay, we need to look at the originals. We need to look at the Hebrew. That's stabilized, perhaps. That's a standard text. And so they must have a standard canon. I think that was the reason why. But I don't know what do you think, William?
I agree. I have really nothing else to add. That was great.
Yep.
Was there anybody else during that time that was like against it, the way that, or saw it the way that Jerome? I mean, like another saint, I guess, per se.
I didn't catch really the question.
Yeah, you're breaking up a lot there, Ari. I could vaguely hear. If there's anybody else,
let me try.
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm asking if there's anybody else that also held onto Jerome's view that was also like important, like the way that Jerome is, because Jerome's a saint, so that's why. Yeah.
You mean at Jerome's time or later?
Yes, Jerome's time or later, both.
Okay, well, later, later certainly, but up till Jerome's time, it was, to my best knowledge, only from members of the church, and not talking about heretics now, because certainly there were some heretics, but up till Jerome's time, I think only Africanus, perhaps, but I think not to the same extent. He was just dialoguing with Origen regarding Susanna, but people like to throw out even Africanus. Oh, he is another one who rejected the Deuterocanon, but that's not really the fact. The fact is that he was just questioning the status of Susanna, and that's it.
Yeah, and Africanus is not a saint. That's one other thing we'll add. He's not venerated as a saint, but either which way, I agree with the nuances that David laid out there. Very, very important. So really, the position of Jerome was unique to him. The position of Saint Jerome was unique to him, and you don't have it before him. Now, afterwards, of course, you're going to find more people that hop on Jerome's particular train of thought on that. But before Jerome, no, I'm going to say that's just pretty much Jerome. Gary, any thoughts to add to that?
No, I think that's true. Now, remember, Jerome is the first person to assign the Deuterocanon to the Apocrypha. Like, no one in antiquity did that. The Apocrypha was spurious, heretical doctrines and teachings and stuff.
Yep.
And again, the chill stream this morning kind of went over that. So, I mean, he does start a unique position within Christianity. And I don't know, David, I don't know if you've settled on how the word apocrypha is worked out with Jerome, but that's kind of a head scratcher for me because he seems to be using it in the old sense and also in a different sense too.
Yeah, I mean, really the only unique sense is in the helmeted prologue, right? Because he mentions or lists them as apocrypha, and that's it. But in all the other texts, when Jerome mentions the word apocrypha, those are, that's the third tier of Athanasius, meaning heretical books not to be read and so on. So really the only occasion is the helmeted prologue. In fact, like Gallagher believes that somehow just exaggeration on his part in the prologue. I mean, that's just a speculation, right? But of Gallagher, but he clearly says it's apocrypha.
Yeah.
But that's the only exception. Yeah.
I agree with Tony. By the way, Tony, how you doing, brother Tony? Tony is right. Jerome uses the word canon confusingly for sure. Yep. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. All right, was that helpful?
Okay. Yes, I got one more question and then I'll pop up. I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, go for it. Go ahead.
All right. So then, since we know like how this was all set up together and everything, why do Protestants have such a huge problem with it? Considering that we obviously have evidence and we have history on our side about all this. Like, what is the big issue with them having a problem with the canon? Because I know a lot of them like to argue and say that, and it just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, my thoughts are ultimately the canon in general, and even the Deuterocanon, teach things that are too Catholic. So the Deuterocanon gets rejected because there are things that are within it that are very Catholic. That was ultimately the issue that Luther had with the Deuterocanonical books. So that is an issue that modern day evangelicals continue having with the Deuterocanonical books, to the point that they've got to come up with any kind of argument to justify having a mutilated Bible. Even though they do not have history on their side, they continue to come up with basically any argument they can, any argument they can conjure in order to remain obstinate and in order to continue to reject those books. Ultimately, they're too Catholic. That is what I truly believe, because you hear the same party line from all of them. You don't hear anything new under the sun. All the arguments are recycled and recycled and recycled. And it isn't like any of these evangelicals have a real kind of concern as to whether or not these books are canonical or not. At least the ones that we are used to dealing with. Some do, but the majority don't have any real concern. The majority are beginning from the perspective that they must be denied. That's the perspective immediately, that they must deny them. And if they must deny them, then there's nothing at all that could ever convince them they belong in the Bible. So they're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at them to attack them, because ultimately, really, they are too Catholic for their own good. I mean, and that really is truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I would add that, depending on which Protestants we're talking about, there are some who would accept these books.
Sure.
And I would say they have some things they believe which are more in common with the Catholic Church. Mm-hmm. And but these are most like non-denominational and so on. But I think if Protestants would they would recognize or like generally say that, we were wrong, these are truly scripture, then that would stigmatize their church, because for so long they were rejecting it, and suddenly now they would accept it. That would go pretty much against their tradition and would falsify in a certain degree their belief system and their church. So I think that's also part of the reason, besides those what William said.
Yeah. Anything to add to that, Gary?
No, it's a lot more complex than you think. It's not like all the Protestants rejected it, like David said. Just the magisterial ones and the Anabaptists accepted them.
Yep.
And Luther originally, the way he kind of rejected them or lowered them to the apocryphal level was based on his Christ preached model, which, by the way, he also demoted some books in the New Testament, at least temporarily. And Protestants didn't sign on that, but interesting enough, they did kind of end up accepting what he said in the Old Testament, but not the New. And so it really wasn't until the Council of Trent that Protestantism began to be more uniform in their opposition to these books.
Yep.
And so I think, it's perhaps not only the things that they teach, but the very fact that Trent affirmed it kind of caused this theological reaction against these books in a way that the early reformers really didn't have. In fact, William, you were the first to point that out, that John Calvin seems to have accepted Baruch.
Yep, calls it prophetic.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and to be honest, not only did I discover that, but I stumbled upon the canonical confusion in Jacob Arminius.
Yeah, right.
Which I know that Jacob Arminius has a Protestant canon, but he's using the deuterocanonical books and he's flat out calling them sacred scripture. It doesn't make any sense at all. There is just all kinds of confusion in the world of Protestantism. It is just a total mess, especially the so-called magisterial reformers. Just a complete mess. Hopefully that was helpful. Ari, by the way, Ari, God bless you. Thank you for the questions. Hopefully that was helpful. We do have more people back here. By the way, we've got 4 more, but 3 of you all do not have your device connected, meaning I think maybe the microphone or something. I don't know. So connect and we can bring you up. Let's look at a few super chats in the meantime. Shout out to Random Catholic over there at the Apocryphal Apocalypse. Says, hey, Gary, have some money. Gary, get yourself some tea and some Gatorade. God bless you, brother. Thank you for your support, my friend. Jimmy H says, Brother William, can you briefly explain the point you were trying to make with Tertullian to Nadir that he wasn't grasping? I am going to guess that you're talking, because I brought Tertullian up a lot. Brother Jimmy, I think you're talking about the fact that Tertullian was refuting the Gnostics. And by virtue of him refuting the Gnostics and other heretical groups, he is arguing that they are forgers, they lie, they're not to be trusted. But primarily, one of the main points that he does make is that they don't have apostolic pedigree. But they don't have apostolic pedigree because they're being condemned as early as the Bible, Jimmy. And if Nadir Ahmed wants to try and argue that I can't prove that, well, his Quran affirms that the people of the book can turn to the Gospels and the Torah to judge themselves. So his own so-called holy book points to the Gospels as being authoritative and as being valuable to look at. With that in mind, in the Bible, those very same people that Tertullian would later condemn are condemned in the Bible because they denied things that were very important about our Lord. They denied things like the Trinity. They denied key aspects of Christology. So my point for Nadir was that we do know what the early Christians believed, and what the early Christians believe doesn't line up with what Islam believes at all. But then Nadir got a little bit upset. Well, all you're doing is bringing up positive testimony. That is not true. In fact, I'm going to put a plug in very briefly for what I think to be one of the very best apologetic books that I've ever read. And maybe one of our moderators can do a phenomenal job of sharing the link to Hostile Witnesses. Guys, I learned a lot of this from Gary's amazing work in Hostile Witnesses. What a great book. In my opinion, a must-own. If you don't have it in your theological library, what are you doing? In fact, a lot of those figures in Gary's book, Hostile Witnesses, I name-dropped them, and Nadir didn't know what to do. Let me confirm with you, Gary. isn't it true? And I guess that was your inspiration in writing the book, that hostile witnesses are very important to the Catholic faith. They can provide great testimony. Isn't that right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So they're basically the enemies of the church that give left-handed compliments. Like there were facts of history that they couldn't sweep under the rug or ignore, so they had to explain them away. And so you can basically, it's like confirms the positive statements in the Christian side, but in a negative way. So, if that makes sense.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Was that the debate on the suffering servant?
No. That was a debate I had on Sunday evening on whether or not the Mary of the Quran can be trusted or the Mary of Catholicism.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if any of y'all got to see that. If you haven't, you'll probably enjoy that debate. A few things that were said.
It was this Sunday?
The past Sunday, yeah. Just had
it. Man, I need to check it out.
Yeah, I think you guys will like it. Gary, I don't know if you've gotten a chance to see it yet. I don't know, you've been very busy.
Yeah, no, I saw the thumbnail. I just haven't had a chance. I definitely on my watch list, though.
Yeah, apparently, according to Nadir, and you guys are going to laugh, but I'm not joking. The audience, anybody in the audience can confirm. According to Nadir, the church fathers are responsible for the Holocaust. They're also responsible for HIV. I'm not joking. I mean, I know you're probably going to laugh, but I'm not joking. All these wild statements that were being made. But the arguments are not good. They're really, really bad. And I'm glad that Brother Jimmy brought up the point. By the way, Jimmy, I forgot to say thank you for your incredible support, brother. Thank you for your support to ministry. Now, Jimmy brings up a good point, because I didn't only bring up Tertullian. I brought up many enemies of the faith. And I said, look, the enemies are confirming what the followers of the Christ believed. And the enemies of the faith are not aware of a group that followed the crucified Christ, that believed things that line up with Islam. They're not aware of any such group. And had the beliefs of Muhammad not been concocted by him, we would have one positive testimony or one negative testimony early on in history to confirm the Islamic beliefs. Now, by Islamic, I mean beliefs that are particular to Islam. You don't have that. And I quoted church father after church father, and I quoted the enemies of the faith too. And as Jimmy knows very well, Nadir didn't have any good answer at all. He didn't. And I recommended anybody. Oh, we got great moderators, guys. AB, I got to give you a shout out. Thank you for sharing that link. Guys and gals, go check it out. Yeah. Gary's, go check out all of Gary's books, right, David? Go check them all out, man.
Certainly. By the way, I also had a back and forth with a Muslim, in the comment section, and I was like, okay, but you don't even have, the Messiah, the historic Messiah, who is supernatural being. I mean, of course, even the Muslims believe that, Jesus Christ is the Messiah, but he's still just human, right?
Right.
He's not more than just a created human being, right? So I pointed out, even if you look at heretics like the Arians or whatnot, like you don't find anyone in history, anyone who is rejecting that Jesus Christ, the Messiah, is a supernatural being, Even though if, Arians were arguing that, okay, even the Messiah is created, but nevertheless must be supernatural, okay, not just pure human being. So even on that level, Islam is completely destroyed by the historical evidence. Only for the Hebrews, I think Messiah is just someone who will restore the temple and bring all the tribes together and something like that. But not in a sense of a redeemer of the whole, of the whole humankind. That's just not there, in Islam.
Yeah.
Or sorry, in for the Hebrews, that's not the messianic theology in there. So to me,
it's also a mess in Islam, the messianic theology. So you're right in both fronts.
So Islam falls on all fronts, all levels when you do historical inquiry.
Anything to add to that, Gary?
No. I don't
Great
know.
point. Great point there,
Yep.
Brother David. AB, thank you for your phenomenal support, my man. Another shout out to the team. I have learned so much from you three wonderful scholars. Because of you and God's grace, I've succeeded in defending the full canon. And that is all glory to God, AB. All glory to God. May the Lord continue to use us for his glory. And I have to say, hey, man, that's the man, and over there as well, that's the man. They're both phenomenal, and I am blessed to be here with both of them. I am incredibly blessed to be with them both, and every time I'm away for an extended period and I can't join them for shows, I'm like, man, I don't even want to tune in because I'm just going to be jealous that they're hanging out with each other and I don't get to hang out, man. But glad to be with you guys. I love being with you guys. Just always wonderful being together as a team. May the Lord continue to keep us together to be able to edify you, AB. And I want to tell you thank you for your support. And AB, I'm glad you're enjoying them, man. And anybody else in the chat, if any of you all are awake when Gary is doing those chill streams, I got to tell you guys, that's incredible, man. Every now and then I'll stumble out of bed to go get a drink or something, and my eyes are half open, and I always grab my phone because I'm always aware of, hey, what's going on? I'll grab my phone and I'll look at my phone. I'm like, what do you mean this guy's live right now? I gotta tell you, you're a machine, Gary. You're
totally thanks. But you know what? We are prime time in Melbourne, I found out this morning. So
really,
we got that going for us.
Do you have the brother Joey? I don't think Joey's watching right now, but do you have him to tune? Does he ever tune in? He's in Australia.
No, I don't think I've ever seen Joey, but I could be wrong though.
Joey's awesome. Joey's great.
Okay, we do have our Australian contingent, so that's pretty cool.
All right, very, very cool. James says, by the way, someone in the WhatsApp group is banned from your chat. Oh, they reached out to me already. That should be taken care of soon by the grace of God, James. Franklin, submit to Rome, you heretics. With you there, man. We're with you there, man. Jimmy H, thank you for your support. And James, thank you for your support. We're going to go backstage. We'll read one more, then we'll go backstage. Also, we see evidence in the Bible that Peter was married. Plain and simple. We've got nothing like that showing that Jesus had blood siblings. Yeah, we have nothing like that. And as you all have seen very clearly, that when we get challenged on that particular point, the Protestants don't do very well. They don't do very well. You can tell they do not do very well at all. But that's a great point, Jimmy. And Jimmy, you probably were able to tune in yesterday. Yeah, you did. By the way, Jimmy, shout out to you. You did tune in when yesterday I had a Protestant, and I wish you would connect today because I told him, connect again. Let's talk again. And we ended up talking about the Canon, guys. We ended up talking about the Canon. That was a lot of fun. What was his name? I don't think his name was KBF or something like that. I don't remember. But he connected, and we went on and on talking about the Canon. But time ran out, and I had to go pick up my daughter. I said, I got to go, man. I think he got a little bit bothered. He thought I was cutting him off and ending the dialogue early. But, I mean, I couldn't go longer than 2 hours yesterday. I had to cut him off. But I'd love to dialogue with him again. But that same person that I talked to about the Canon, when I asked him, how do you even know that your New Testament canon is the Word of God? He couldn't give an answer. You know what I really appreciated, guys? I appreciated that towards the end of the dialogue, when I kept pressing him, and Jimmy, you were witness, and everybody else that saw, as I pressed and I pressed, how do you know only the 27 books? How do you know? Finally, he just stopped and paused, and during the video, if you go, you watch, he pauses and he just says, I don't know. That's an honest answer. A Protestant doesn't know.
Is he a pastor or something?
I don't know. Somebody told me he has his own channel. Mm-hmm. Somebody told me he does a radio show. I don't know who the guy is. I have no idea. I don't know, no clue at all. And I was very kind, very respectful to him. If he's watching right now, he's welcome to come back up and dialogue. We can continue. And Jimmy was a witness. We went back and forth talking about the so-called brothers and sisters of Christ. And he hit a brick wall there too as we began exegetically going over the text. There is nothing there that indicates those children are of Mary. There's nothing there at all. Rather, quite the opposite. It is very indicative that these were not children of Mother Mary. Jimmy, let me know if you enjoyed that show. God bless you, brother. Let's go backstage. Let me just read this. James says, by the way, William, if anyone comes up and tells you there was no bishop of Rome in the early church, read off the entire lineage I gave you. You got to send me that entire lineage, brother, in a private chat. Send me that entire lineage, guys. Save it so that I can save it. But I mean, if I'm getting cross-examined in a debate, you want me to read that whole list? I mean, they're going to kick me off the debating stage, man. They kicked me off of there, James. James, brother, thank you for your support, brother. Artuo, how you doing, brother? You able to hear us?
Hi there. I hear you loud and clear. Good afternoon, you guys.
Good afternoon, brother. How's it going, man?
Glory to God. Yeah, and I agree with AB. You guys are titans, man. I learned so much from you guys, and may God continue to work through you guys for His glory. And so, I wanted to talk about Josephus a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Go for it.
And so, my question is, I understand Josephus is a very first century Jewish historian, and I know that a lot of Protestants sort of refer to Josephus to support their Old Testament canon because, well, Josephus, from what they say, right, was around and knows what the Jews accepted and whatnot. And so I guess I just want to know if Josephus really is someone that does support their Old Testament 39 book canon, or if it's like, something we can shut down and show that, it actually doesn't support, or, so I really don't know. So I wanted to ask you guys.
Yeah. You want to tackle that first, Gary? You want me to tackle that first? Whatever is easier for you.
Why don't you go ahead, William, and I'll tack on whatever.
Okay, and David as well. Yeah, anybody. Thank you for that question first, brother. Now, to really go into Josephus, the one thing that I'm going to recommend most for you is to look at the videos we've done on him. We've done a lot of them. I'd recommend you look at those first and foremost. And I'd also recommend you watch the debate we did a few months back, the brother Dr. David and myself. We did that on Standing for Truth in the Canon. We talk about Josephus a lot. I recommend you do both of those, because there's no way we can do justice to the Josephus canon issue right now, but we're going to do our very best to do that. And there might be a few things we leave out, but let me start off by saying, from the get-go, Josephus very clearly does rely on Septuagintal texts, meaning he's not relying on any kind of proto-Protestant canon. And that is very clear in his writings. He is using books that are the so-called deuterocanonical books, quotes from them at length multiple times over and over. And in fact, all I have to do is open up my Josephus notes, and I'll see some of the particular areas that Josephus does rely upon. For instance, he relies upon, where is it? Where do I have it? Let's see. And it's against Appian. No, it's not there. Where is it, man? Do you guys remember off the top of your head? I think it's First Maccabees. First Maccabees. I know that. I got it already. Okay. Not only does he quote from Maccabees, he relies on the deuterocanonical longer version of Esther, and he does so in his Antiquities, and that is the so-called deuterocanonical text. He refers to the biblical event from First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 49 to 60 in his Antiquities. He relies upon that as well. He also quotes from First Maccabees chapter 2. And Josephus in his Antiquities, after relying on multiple deuterocanonical texts, all of what Josephus has relied upon and been quoted, he later says that he's relied upon what is written in our sacred books, he says. Well, if he tells you, I've attempted to enumerate those high priests that we have had during the interval of 2,000 years, have also carried down the succession of our kings and related their actions, political administration, all according to what is written in our sacred books. So if he has confined himself to sacred books, we've got to ask, what sources does he rely upon? Well, he doesn't rely upon the so-called shorter Protestant canon. He relies upon deuterocanonical texts, multiple times over. And if Josephus says those are sacred books, that totally blows out of the water the idea that he held to a shorter Protestant truncated canon that is totally annihilated. But Gary and David, I know you all will have something amazing to add as well.
Yeah, let me throw something really quick in. He does it 7 times in Antiquities and twice in Against Appian. So, okay, so David, you could pick it up from there.
Yeah, I mean, Gary has the best series on Josephus on the channel. So if you just put in the search engine Josephus, or if you look at the chat here on the Apocryphal Apocalypse, Tony always shares the links, so you can just click on them. Tony's doing a magnificent job here, as always. And I would also recommend Gary's article on it. You can find it on academia.edu. It was officially published in a journal, in a seminar journal, and but Gary goes a step further. He examines what Josephus is really talking about. His aim is history. He's not trying to tell you what, like in Against Appian, what sacred scripture is. Just simply talking about history. But what I like to do is just go with the argument of the Protestants and just let's see if that holds water. And you can, test it on many levels. Like, for example, William mentioned our debate with 13 Fan and Dan Chapa. So I asked 13 Fan, okay, so does Josephus say that the whole collection of those 22 books include history? And he was trying to wiggle out of it, Oh, but he says the third category are hymns and, just prayers and, instructional life. Okay, I said, okay, but that doesn't negate the previous statement that the whole 22 books must contain history. The problem is, books like Ecclesiastes, Song of Songs don't include history whatsoever. There's zero history there. So you can appeal to Psalms, but not to these 2 books, for example. Yeah. So that's problematic. Then, like William mentioned, if he's going to use Diderot, Esther, what will he do with that?
Mm-hmm.
When he says that he is translating in his Antiquities the Hebrew scriptures into Greek, that means his whole Antiquities represents the scriptures of the Hebrews, period. First, you have problems with the numbering. If you have Esdras there but not Ezra, then that's problematic because then he's dividing Nehemiah from Esdras. And once you're going to break down one double book, then the 22 will just not give you the Protestant canon. Something's missing there. Further, we have this new information that Josephus is using 2 books of Ezekiel. And so on and so forth, but really the burden, and then we can go to things like whether prophecy actually ceased after Artaxerxes, right? Whether that's what Josephus is saying. Well, that's clearly not what Josephus is saying. He's not negating that there were prophets and prophecies after Artaxerxes. He's just saying that there was not an exact succession of prophets. He actually mentions several of those prophets in the later period of time, but really, eventually, the burden of proof is on Protestants. If they are saying that those 22 books must match the Protestant canon, then show me the evidence. Because if Josephus doesn't give you a list, then that's really just a claim without any basis.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Was that helpful, brother?
Oh, super helpful. I'm going to check out those links, check out that debate. Yeah, of course. Yeah, thank you, guys.
Brother, God bless you, my friend. Thank you for coming up. We look forward to talking to you again, my friend.
God bless you guys. Thanks.
You take care. For anyone else, if y'all have anything in your mind or if you want to challenge us, we'd love to hear from you. Come back here. Let us know on the right-hand side. What is your faith? What is your question? We'd love to hear from you all. We hope y'all are enjoying the show. God bless all of y'all. We hope you're enjoying it. Gary and David, let me play the role of guest back here for one moment, and then we'll go to a few more questions, and we'll take anybody backstage. What do you guys make of that, of the 2 books of Ezekiel and Josephus? What do you guys make of that?
Well, that's the Tony Esto. Is it Tony Esto or is it
Joey? That's Joey.
Esto?
Joey,
I always want to call him
Joey
Tony,
Esto.
but it's Joey. Yeah, that's the Joey Esto argument, which is awesome. He threw that out in the chat and was persistent. We ran it down, and yes, Josephus does say in Antiquities of the Jews, Book 10, that there are 2 books of Ezekiel, and that is extremely problematic when it comes to the 22 books, because you could try to massage it and say, well, the canonical book of Ezekiel, maybe there was 2 parts within it, and so he's saying 2 books of Ezekiel, so on. But that doesn't change the fact that he would count Ezekiel as 2 and not 1.
Yeah.
So when he gives the 22 books, now we have another proto-canonical book that can't be accounted for his description. This time it's in the prophets, right?
That's pretty good. And Joey's the one that noticed that then. I got to give a shout out to Joey, man. Shout out to Joey there, man. That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good.
Absolutely. Yeah. And in fairness, though, I thought I heard David Savaris mention something about that, and I made a mental note to run it down. I never did. So, David, I'm going to call it the Joey Esto argument, but
so David, you had noticed it before then. Before Joey, you had noticed it then.
Regarding Ezekiel?
Yeah.
No.
That's Joey's. That's Joey's.
I
heard you say something about 2 books of Ezekiel.
No. My argument only was that if Josephus is using Esdras, Greek Esdras, which we don't have any evidence. In fact, the scholar consensus is that it was always separated from Nehemiah. Then that also undermines the whole position of those, 22 books, matching the 39, because, as I say, you cannot break down anything. Lamentations must be with Jeremiah, Esdras must be Nehemiah, and so on and so forth. As soon as you just break into one combined book, that's over.
Yeah. So I do have this, and inspired by Joey, because I found out that Joey was. By the way, Joey's pretty sharp, guys. I found out that Joey had come up with a really sharp comment there on Josephus in the 2 books of Ezekiel. I did reach out to Lee McDonald. I did reach out to him asking him his thoughts on that. And he had a very interesting response. Although he told me, he said there's really no way to be certain. But he said that it is possible that there is a Septuagint tradition where there are some and I'm reading the email, where there are some manuscripts or lists that would have divided Ezekiel, or would have circulated Ezekiel with appendix texts in multiple volumes.
Okay.
Now, I then asked him, is there solid evidence for that? And his response was, I don't know. So,
I mean, you can anticipate that Protestants going to come up with all kinds of hypotheses, and probably there was.
I thought that was but if you don't have solid evidence for that, I mean, I like Lee McDonald, but I don't think there's any way to prove that. Yeah. There's just really no way, and it's just really at that point his response to really to me seemed more like a kind of trying to figure out. Give his own opinion rather than actually any solid evidence. But, hey, we're all doing our very best, because that is really an unusual text in Josephus. Very unusual.
Yeah. And, the thing is, no matter how you slice it or dice it, whether it's counting 1 book as 2 or 2, Procophon of Ezekiel. And I did a video on that, of the different options. No matter what option you pick, it doesn't get you off the hook that it's one of that there's 2 books of the 22 that's for Ezekiel. So there has to be a book, at least 1 book missing, probably more.
That still gives you a big problem if you're trying to argue for the Protestant shorter canon in Josephus. You're running into a brick wall there.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, look, the text speaks clearly, right? So whoever wants to say no, that's not what the text says, then the burden of proof is always on the one who's explaining it away.
Oh yeah,
not in the text that is clear, right?
Right. Yeah, and that's the rendering that's given in the Brill Antiquities of the Jews series, the first 10 volumes. So it's solidly based in manuscript evidence.
Oh yeah.
So there's no doubt that he says there's 2 books.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And that, of course, that is going to create a lot of problems for Protestants. A lot. Especially the more and more that we utilize that. And man, I wish we would have had that during our debate, David. That would have been good, right? That would have been good to bring up.
They would be stumped. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to say Josephus is starting to become one of my favorite go-to people, because no matter where you turn with Josephus, it really does fall apart. It doesn't substantiate the Protestant position at all.
No, there's no way. It falls apart.
Yeah.
It really does miserably. And I can't believe they've gotten away with it for so long using Josephus. It just shows us that we hadn't been doing our homework the way we should have been doing it earlier. But the more and more you read, and I mean, Josephus is a landmine of problems for them. I mean, depending on where you step, there's a landmine there. It's not helpful for their position at all.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and as we also pointed out, he sees a clear prophecy in a text which is not found anywhere,
Right.
and all kinds of things. So it's really on multiple levels the problems the Protestants have to tackle with.
Oh yeah, there's multiple problems there. Yeah, no doubt about that. By the way, audience, we still have at least another 20 minutes, about 20 minutes before we close the doors of the dojo, because Gary and David, they got to go. But we want to be respectful to David's time. So if you guys have any questions, send them our way or come back here, pick our brain. We'd love to hear from you guys. And James, shout out to James. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the super chat, for being a goated member. Sam would be cringing right now. Thank you for your support, Brother James, man. Guys, we are able to do what we do because of your support, and we are incredibly grateful. Thank you so much. Syriac Orthodox Church is what he means, I think. And and the Syrian Church of the East have longer Old Testament, smaller New Testament. It depends which Syriac Orthodox, by the way, for the New Testament. Eastern Orthodox and Coptic Orthodox have a longer Old Testament, same New Testament. It depends which Eastern Orthodox. Again, Eastern Catholics have the same canon as the Latins, but in liturgical usage, we may differ. I forgot about the Armenian Apostolic canon. Well, that's a very good point. Let me give my thoughts, and then I'll allow David and Gary their thoughts. And I do want to commend you, James. That's a great point you bring up. Now, why is that a really good point? Because no matter which way we look, within Catholicism, all Catholic rites, and by Catholic rite, we mean R-I-T-E, all Catholic rites, whether it be Latin, Byzantine, Maronite, Chaldean, Syro-Malabar, it doesn't matter what rite you look at, all of them are fully under the Bishop of Rome. All of them are united to the Pope of Rome. There is not going to be one. There's not even one exception. Not even one exception. You're not going to encounter, maybe we've encountered Ukrainian Catholic Church. And now, they've got a different canon. No. All of them are under the Pope of Rome. All of them are united to Rome. Therefore, what do we share? We share the same dogmatic canon because there is one magisterium, one deposit of faith, and because of that, there is one canon of Scripture. If anyone has told you otherwise, they're wrong. There is no Eastern Catholic canon. Ubi Petrus, it's been about 4 years. We're waiting on the response. We've been waiting 4 years. And there's a reason why you declined to debate me in the canon on Matt Fradd's Pints with Aquinas. We know why you refused to. There's no Eastern Catholic canon, and there is no Western Catholic canon. There is only the Catholic canon. With that in mind, none of them, and I know the Brother James knows this, I'm just clarifying for the audience. With that in mind, when Trent was very clear on the parameters of the canon, Trent never said, well, hold on. This is for the Latin Church only. No, it defined the canon for the Universal Catholic Church. Every Catholic rite is bound to the same defined canon. Now, is it possible that maybe in an Eastern Catholic Church, maybe there's some additional books being used ecclesiastically, maybe prayer, maybe prayer of Manasseh, maybe Psalm 151, maybe even 3rd Maccabees. It doesn't make them canonical. Used in an ecclesiastical sense does not equal canonicity at all. It definitely does not for these usages in the modern sense. It doesn't. And Vatican II is very clear that these rights are all united to Rome. So Eastern Catholics, they do accept Rome's canon. They don't have any different canon. I ranted a little bit there, brothers. You want to add anything to that, David?
No, absolutely not. Regarding the Syrian Church of the East, to be honest, that's a perplexing question about the smaller New Testament. It's like again, was this derived from the liturgical use, or was this derived from something else? I'm not really sure, But that's a good question for Protestants, because I think it was Kevin who once posted this thing that why do the Protestants have the same New Testament as the Catholic Church and the Eastern Orthodox? Like, why don't you follow the Ethiopic Church, which has also like First Clement there, Or why don't you follow this Assyrian Church of the East, which has a smaller New Testament?
Yeah.
Right. So what do they? What's the basis for the New Testament canon when it comes to Protestants? I'm not sure. Yeah, but regarding the Eastern Catholic liturgies, like all churches which are in communion with Rome have the same canon. That's absolutely true.
Anything to add to that, Gary?
Yeah, I think even like ecclesiastically, Orthodox Philip put this in the Apocryphal Apocalypse chat. He said that I'm not convinced that the EOC has a different canon than Catholics in virtue of the Seventh Ecumenical Council, which affirmed the North African councils.
No, we agree with you.
We could add the Synod of Jerusalem as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, we agree that we should have the same one. The only issue is that there are certain ones that don't follow that. That is our only point. Do we believe that you do and many others do? Without a doubt, Orthodox Philip. Yeah, without a doubt. But unfortunately, there are some Orthodox Philip that have even denied their they've even denied their canonicity altogether, and that's just an unfortunate thing. It really is. Yeah, have them reach out to me, Orthodox Philip, if you want to do a presentation on icons. I'd love to have you.
Yeah. That's true. He suggested it.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, a few streams before. Yeah, that would be great.
I'd love to have him on. Reach out to me, or reach out to us. Yeah, definitely. I still have zero idea why Celsus would care about Christians forging gospels. He answered one question, but not this. Oh, you're talking about Nadir, James. Yeah. You have to understand, James, that Nadir and other Muslims are not going to be honest with the enemies of the faith. They're not going to be honest with their testimony. And indeed, Celsus is a very damaging figure for Muslims, because he truly does affirm not only Celsus, but Trypho as well, the Jew who's arguing and debating against Justin Martyr very early on in early church history. And then later, Celsus, who was refuted, forgive me, by Origen, great church writer, indicates very clearly what the early Christians believed, what their views were. So yeah, a Muslim is not going to be able to deal with Celsus or with Trypho the Jew or any of these early hostile witnesses in any sense at all, James. So yeah, James, great point, sir. Nadir was not able to deal with those at all. And yeah, 6 million in the Islamic Mary. Yeah, the statements are just wild, man. I got to say, guys, you guys got to go watch a debate. If you want a good laugh, man. If you want a good laugh, man. James, thank you for your support, brother. And Lino Molina over there at the Apocryphal Apocalypse says, does Nadir know that Surah 349 is copying from the Infancy Gospel of Thomas regarding chapter 2? Infancy Gospel of Thomas, chapter 2, regarding the making of birds out of clay. What is going to be argued, Lino Molina, is that it is a true event, and the Gospel of Thomas preserves that as a true event, and that Muhammad is not relying on that apocryphal gospel, but that this is divine revelation from Allah, and the Gospel of Thomas preserves this divine revelation from Allah even though, yes, it does come beforehand, and clearly Muhammad is not only relying, but directly ripping off this from the Gospel of Thomas. So that's the kind of argument that the Muslims are going to use. They're going to use that argument. So just be aware that they'll try to slip out of it. They're very slippery when it comes to clearly heterodox texts that Muslims have relied upon for their holy book. But yeah, it's terrible. There's a terrible argument, Lino Molina. It is really, really bad. Terrible, terrible. Any thoughts? Any thoughts to add to that, brothers?
Yeah, like Muslims have a hard time lately, no? I mean, even Cameron was putting on excellent material.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. And Joe wrote, thank you for the support. Says, Ninja David, pray the thesis is going well. God bless you guys on the panel. Do you want to maybe let the audience know, because you are you're going to defend your doctoral thesis. Maybe for the audience to know, can you let them know when will that happen? And so everybody can pray for you, brother. Let them know, is that going to be happening soon? How's everything been going in your part of the world? And do you have anything else you're planning? Any other presentations for the Apocrypha Apocalypse, maybe later on in the winter or maybe in the new year? Anything else, brother?
Yeah, so it will be Justin Santa Claus on the 5th of December.
There you go.
So that would be my present for a thesis. And yeah, thank you for the prayers and the encouraging statements. And yeah, I mean, I'm preparing a lot of stuff. I'm just, I'm still being held back by these, not important marginal things like, defending the thesis and,
Yeah.
So certainly I will. After that, maybe December or perhaps in January, I will come out with some new stuff, like are there errors in the Book of Judith and other interesting thing.
That's a good one. That'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited for that one. So audience, guys and gals, if you have anything else in your mind, we got about 5 to 10 minutes left, and then we're going to close those doors. You good with that, Gary? 5-10 minutes? You good with that?
Sounds
all
good.
Right. You good with that as well, David?
Sure.
All right, we got about 5-10 minutes. We'll do 10 minutes if we get somebody else. If we don't, we'll close them in 5 minutes. And you don't have to come back here. You can put it in the chat. Do you have anything on your mind? Let us know. Do you have a question? Or if you do want to come back here, still have 10 minutes, which is more than enough time, and you want to pulverize our brains and ask us questions, we'd love to hear from you all. We always really enjoy hearing from you all. So yeah, let us know. What do you have on your mind? There you go. After that, we'll all be forced to call you doctor, man. Yeah, man. You got to get ready for that already. He's gonna hold us all to that.
No, please don't.
Well, it'd be doctor, right?
No, it will be doctor, but
that's a good one, doctor.
You know what? After I receive a PhD from theology, then you can call me doctor, but otherwise it's
you still earned it, man. You still earned it. Yeah, I mean, you earned that title, man. Yeah, of course. We're definitely going to call you doctor. Doctor, yeah. That's a good one, man. Joe Rowe, thank you so much for your support. God bless you. Let's take this final one. We'll close the doors to the dojo. And guys and gals, we want to remind. Well, before we even close the doors, before we take the final one, I do want to ask you, Gary, are you live in the morning? Are you live tomorrow morning?
Is that a trick question?
You are, right?
I'm live streaming. I don't know if I'm alive in the morning, but
there you go, man.
Yeah. Well, Monday I will be live. And, okay. And by the way, just to let people know, Ash Mize is agreed to come on Apocrypha Apocalypse. We just got to nail down the dates. And David and William, I sent you an email.
Yes.
And we'll let you guys know when that happens, because I'm thrilled and pumped. I can't wait to have them come on and talk about Rabbinic Judaism and the canon and all sorts of stuff.
I'm excited for that. That'd be great. So yeah, we just got to iron down that date. I can't wait for that. We definitely got to do that. Did he by any chance give you any indication of when? Because I've been so busy, I haven't seen the emails yet. Did he kind of like talk about a time frame?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, just check the email and
okay.
We kind of threw out some stuff. So
awesome, great. We'll definitely make it work. We'll definitely make that work.
Absolutely.
James, thank you for your support, brother. God bless you, my friend. He says, if Eastern Orthodox and Eastern Catholics, if Eastern Orthodox and any Eastern Catholics, say Byzantine Catholics and Copts, have a longer canon by liturgical usage, they have a problem since the Requiem Aeternam comes from 4 Esdras and Latins don't consider it canonical. That's a really good point.
Yeah,
that is a very good point. I'd argue that is a elite tier argument. That's really, really good. Now, forgive me, I'm not trying to be rude or ugly, but anybody making that argument that by virtue of liturgical usage that automatically that means that they must have a longer canon, it's just a bad argument.
Yeah. Now, I think we have to throw in a qualification, though.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because when we talk about liturgical use, it doesn't matter because, as you pointed out, 4th Ezra is used in the Latin Rite.
That's correct. Yep.
But when you're talking about those that are read as sacred scripture in the liturgy,
absolutely,
that actually does pertain to the canon because that's like the public proclamation that they're inspired.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
and those will always be canonical.
Right. And the reading of the scripture is part of the liturgy. So that's why I think you have to make that qualification because people might get confused.
Yep.
I would argue the Copts don't even have a longer canon. Mm-hmm. The only difference is they have Prayer of Mass and Psalm 151, which to me is rather a addition, to Psalms or textual variants and to Second Chronicles. But in terms of like books, which has chapters and something like that.
Yeah.
No, in that regards, we have an identical canon to the Copts.
Yep, I agree. 100%. I agree without a doubt. AB, great point, says, the errors in the Deuterocanon are used against us. But what about 2 Kings and 2 Chronicles double standards? And the double standards are double standards galore. We can go on and on. We can point to many other examples where there are so-called errors. Now, we don't believe that they are real errors, but yeah, you're right. He's referring, when he says 2 Kings and 2 Chronicles, I believe he's referring to the so-called chronological errors, right? I think that's the one that that many people bring up, where liberals will very often say there's contradictions between the reigns of kings, the durations, the ages, and what have you. Now, what is the response to that? Well, the response is very clear that in the ancient Near Eastern, the kind of way that they counted was using the accession year, not accession year. And they also used co-regency systems. But it would require a whole show just to break that down. There's many other so-called contradictions in the proto-canon. So if the evangelicals are going to claim that the Deuterocanon has all these errors, which it doesn't, we can play that game and act like a liberal. We can act like a total liberal and act like a non-believer, like agnostics and atheists, and begin to attack the proto-canonical books as well. We can play that game. The fact of the matter is it's a total double standard. And AB, you're 100% right. If they're claiming that there's errors in the Deuterocanon, well, very clearly, all they are doing is trying to begin from the premise that this is a false book. Anything that I think is wrong is a real error, and that is a problematic way of approaching this. Gary has done a masterful job of pointing that out. It's a very problematic way of approaching these books. Isn't that right, Gary?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So they take difficulties and they say they're errors because they already decided. And absolutely. That's why it's the nuclear option, right? So, hey, David, we got your two favorite terms. We have deuteroduplicity going on here, and you also have the nuclear option. So,
absolutely. We love it, man. We love it, guys. Guys, you guys have been phenomenal. You audience are great, and we want to give a shout out to Gamboa, who became a member. Thank you so much for your support. And everyone that sent super chats or gifted memberships, guys, God bless you all. You all are incredible. We are able to do what we do here because of your support, and we're incredibly grateful. Keep an eye out. if you're here in Patristic Pillars, make sure to subscribe over there at the Apocryphal Apocalypse if you haven't, and put the notification bell. Just turn your notifications off if you don't want to be woken up, because Gary will go live at all kinds of hours, man. But for real, guys, you're going to love it. You get to see amazing chill streams. And whenever Gary goes live that I'm not with a team and they're together, you get the notification. You can check them out. If you are in the Apocryphal Apocalypse, consider supporting me. Come over here and be a subscriber as well. Support us both. Subscribe to Apocryphal Apocalypse if you are here in Patristic Pillars. If you're over there, come over here and be a subscriber so that when I'm live, you can see my hideous, ugly, bald head. Guys, you guys have been great. You guys are amazing. We were thrilled and pumped we're able to be here as a team. Before we close the doors, I want to give David and Gary any final words. Any final words, Brother David?
Thanks for the show, guys. I really enjoyed it. I was happy to be with you again, the whole team together, and hopefully see you again very soon, with all those excited things like icons and the Dudro Canon, Eshmays, and all the other stuff.
Amazing. Incredible. Gary, any final thoughts, brother?
Yeah. Hey, I'm always thrilled and pumped to be with you guys. And in the chat room, like I always say, like our chat room is the smartest chat room out there. Really great comments and insights. And we got to do this more often, guys, because this is always a lot of fun.
We've got to do it more often, man. You guys are great. I want to give a shout out, as David knows, we got to toss Gary into that group one day, although he'd probably never get sleep if we tossed him in. We've got the greatest WhatsApp group, theology group that there is. It is a phenomenal group. You guys, we want to tell you all, thank you for your support. Thank you for being amazing. And we'll be back again by the grace of God very soon, guys. Gary will be back live soon. I'll be back again tomorrow. And Sunday night, I'll be debating Nadir Ahmed, round 2 debate. So you guys definitely. Wow. Yeah, Gary does need to. Gary needs to join us. He does. So I'll ask him. Maybe he's willing to get 1,000 notifications at once. Guys, we love all you all. We will be back again soon. With that, everybody, God bless you. God keep you. Talk to you all soon.